Happy new moon in Aries, my friends, and welcome to my channel. I am your cosmic auntie, the interstellar storyteller, and this is going to be a collective reading for the new moon that we just had in Aries. It also marks the beginning of the astrological new year. So there's this freshness. Shift of seasons in the northern hemisphere to spring, southern to fall. So happy spring or fall wherever you find yourself on this beautiful planet. It's all very powerful because we had the equinox, the new moon in Aries, the shift into Aries season all happening at the same time. So I've been talking about it a lot through the monthly readings that I had in March coming from Pisces season, where it's like the end of not only a chapter but an entire book and the beginning and opening of a whole new one. The visual that I received for this energy was I got it a few days ago, and I've been sitting with it ever since. And the visual that I got for this new moon energy was like I was putting a book up on a shelf, and then I went and sat down at a desk and looked out this like open window out to the sea, and it was just like open sea, like there was no land or anything, and I couldn't see anything below. It was just water. Like I felt like I was high up looking out on the water, and there was just so, it's so expansive. And also we're coming out of Pisces season, so this ending and beginning, and then now we're in Aries, so it's like the spark, the initiative, the threshold has been crossed into a whole new era, not even a whole new chapter, but a whole new era. This is I wrote in my shorts, I made a short for the new moon in Aries before I did the long form video, and I wrote in the description, like, the energy feels like the moment you open a whole brand new journal, like that moment where you open up that journal, you see that first blank page, and you're just like, there's this moment of cherishing it. Like, I don't know about you, but I love journals, and they're often very reflective of like the person. You're attracted to a certain journal and like the feel of it, and this energy for the new moon is giving me that very phenomena, like where you open up a brand new journal, like you've filled up that last one, you've put it on the shelf, and now you have opened the front cover and there's a whole blank page, like with many behind, stacked underneath of it, with all of this potential, with all of this opportunity, with all of these pages to fill. So how interesting. How interesting. So let's jump in and see what the cards are reflecting. I'll have all of the information down below for the decks if you're interested in checking them out. And also thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being you. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate just everything. Like, I celebrate every single thing on this channel, like every view, every like, every comment, every subscriber, and like I do extended readings for my monthly, and anyone who's purchased those, and any donation to the channel, I just like everything really fills me up. So thank you so much. This channel wouldn't be what it is without you. So again, I'm just so grateful that you're here. I learned so much by doing these, and it also provides a space for me to, to be in my truth, to shine my light, and to share my wisdom. 8 of Coins. So, oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. So as you open that front page, that cover, and you're looking at that front page, what's your first step? What are some of the things that you are doing and are wanting to continue to do, as well as start doing? This is all about skill building. This is all about commitment to mastering a certain craft or a skill. So with this new moon in Aries, I sense that this is a powerful time to, become clear on some of the intentions that you have for not only this time, but like this next era. Like, what are you wanting to build? What are you wanting to get better at? What are you wanting to cultivate? What do you want to learn? Like, what are you intrigued by? What have you been working on that really aligns with your soul that you want to continue to bring into the next level, right? To the next level in this next era. So this is a powerful time to really become clear on like what you'd like to commit yourself to. And 10 of Wands. Interesting. What you want to commit yourself to and what you don't, right? The 10 of Wands is the end of a chapter. It's the end of a cycle. So this coming out after the 8 of Coins is telling me that the people who are here, you have done a lot of work at learning about yourself, what has become too heavy. You've done a lot of discerning. You've done a lot of inventory taking. You've experienced a lot, and you have become quite clear of what you are releasing and what you are bringing into the next chapter. So, and if not, this is the time to be, to sit with yourself, be with yourself, and really ask yourself, like, what has already come to fruition. Like, this is also like, just versions of yourself that, you have come to be. And, is about extracting the wisdom of those chapters, carrying that wisdom forward, and releasing anything else so that there's room to expand. I hope that this makes sense. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's way too many. I just want one more, and then I'm also going to use the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. I keep seeing like these, and the star, very cool. These like shoulders, like these trapezius muscles, like up here. And then with this, the 10 of Wands, it's like heaviness. So I sense that you have been working on a sense of heaviness. It takes time. Some of you may be feeling a sense of heaviness, and that's all right. That's okay. Because as much as I'm saying this is like a whole new, book, we're fluid. So we bring things and we experience things in a sense of fluidity. So even though this is a whole new year, it doesn't mean like things just stop and like change. Some of that might happen, but others it might not. So we've got the Star card. What's up with this Ten of Wands? The Nine of Wands. Which is like a stairway. So again, you have come to an end of a cycle. And now I feel as though this is a time in this new moon to just take account of what has happened. You know, maybe putting it into words, maybe a journal, like if that aligns with you. Because again, back to that visual, I saw putting a whole new journal on a whole old journal on the shelf and sitting at the desk and looking out the window. There's a sense of heaviness at times when, you know, a version of yourself has come to be, where there's been a chapter that has come to an end. And there's a sense of, you know, it can feel very foreign, you know, moving forward. And I just want to acknowledge that, you know, because it's hard sometimes to release versions of yourself I heard like that you enjoyed, to live in those moments where things, you know, were the way they were, and then before things changed, you know, and having to face that reality is really challenging. It is. And it takes a lot of commitment, and it does take a lot of like practice with the Eight of Coins here. It takes a lot of practice. With the Star here, there is this hope and these dreams coming true. There's so much promise in this next era. I just feel as though I'm talking to people who are on the threshold still. And take your time. Take your time when it comes to taking it all in, seeing what has happened, what has come to be, what is to be released. And, you know, because the 10 goes back to the 1, so the Ace of Wands, how, you know, that inspiration, that fire, that drive, that initiative, you know, really through that process, being able to refine yourself, you know, refine back to that sense of passion. I hope that makes sense. Not that you're ever in a lack of passion, it's just that by the time of the 10 of Wands, like a lot has happened, and it's an invitation to kind of sit with that and honor that. And again, it always reminds me of inventory taking, like taking account of what has come to be thus far. And the 9 of Wands is great effort. So this past, you know, chapter that has kind of ended this last book, I sense has, you know, really tested you, really tested you. And continues to. And that's where the 8 of Coins is coming in, is that there's this very committed practice I sense you taking with yourself to these challenges, to this effort. I hope this is making sense, because this new moon brings in a lot of freshness. It brings in a lot of hope, a lot of expansion. New moons in general are an incredible time to set intentions, to you know, really plant the seeds, and that will root and sprout and grow into, you know, fruitful experiences, endeavor, all of that. So I do sense that there is so much, coming true, your dreams coming true, and your wishes coming true, and there's so much hope. Like, as I looked out the window in my visual, like, I felt like, I don't know, I guess like there was a bit of a heavy-heartedness to the energy, but it was incredibly hopeful and exhilarating. I look this way because in the visual I'm looking this way, out at the water. Like, it's interesting because as I kind of like dissect this visual, it's like I was looking at that Pisces season, that end of the last chapter, where I was in the depth of it, and then I was up, say, dry and kind of elevated now in Aries season, right? Because like the fire season comes along and kind of dries things up again, warms things up. So there was that threshold there where I was still like really looking out to the depth of it, as well as feeling the expansion and the potential of that, the opportunity, of this next chapter, of this next book, of this next era. All right, let's do the 8 of coins. It's coming up for the 8 of coins. Oh, it's so beautiful. So we've got the 9 of cups, and we've got the Father of cups, so the King of cups. Okay, so there's that water energy, with the Father of cups, that depth. There's a lot that you've learned about, like there's a lot that a wisdom that has been extracted. You've learned a lot about how you feel. This 8 of Pentacles, there's ways that I sense you have learned and have committed to as a practice to ground your emotional energy. Because there's this, the people I'm talking to right now, like, you've been through a lot. There's been a lot that has occurred, especially in the last chapter of this book that has just come to a close, the book that's being put on the shelf. And even though that book is being put on the shelf, there's still residual effects that, need to be honored and nurtured, right? We are kind of emotional beings. So even though something is over, the healing now begins and takes time, and is not linear. It's going to go up and down. So, having grounding practices that assist you in, coming home to yourself and connecting to your emotional core and feeling emotionally grounded, can be very, very helpful in this next chapter of healing. So there was something else I was going to say too, but I can't remember, unfortunately. Hopefully it'll come back. All right, let's do clarifier for the star. We've got the moon. Ooh, the night sky. And the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck. Wow. Fortune is turning in your favor, my darlings. Your wishes are coming true. Prayers answered. Hope, inspiration, magic, the moon, the star, being very aware of your intuitive energy and power, your spiritual gifts. I sense there's a way that you are intuitively expressing your spiritual gifts. and it raising the vibration of the collective. I sense you have a lot of plans to make this world a better place by A, being yourself, and B, expressing and shining your light. I guess that's part of being yourself. But like implementing and sharing your soul gifts, your spiritual gifts in authentic ways, and making the world a better place. And I just really thank you for that. Thank you for doing that. Through all the pain that you've experienced, all the upheaval, all the challenges, all of the burdens, all of the heaviness of grief, you have always come back to love time and time again. This emotion is here. You've always come back to love, and you're being blessed because of that moving forward, even though you may be dealing with with residual healing and going through all the different levels and layers of healing. Like I said, it's not linear, so it's going to come and go, right? It's going to ebb and flow. And the more that you commit yourself to the your grounding work, your practice, you're able to hold space for it, and through that process it becomes easier over time. It doesn't necessarily mean like it's so hard to say, because I definitely feel like I'm talking to people that again have been through so much and are navigating their own unique grief process. But like grieving is like learning how to build a relationship with a new reality, so it takes time, okay, and it can feel very foreign, but I sense you really finding your footing and finding your emotional center, and that being very like a driving force to the ways that you are inspired to show up in the world and shine your unique light and shine your gifts. I just sense you intuitively knowing and being very intuitively guided to sharing your specific gifts, and when and where. And it's bringing it is great prosperity and abundance and blessings. Wow. Anything else we can learn about this 9 and 10 of Wands? Father of Swords and the 6 of Swords. Yeah. You have and are liberating yourself from past versions of you that you've outgrown, through conditioning that does not align with who you truly are. You're shedding and have shed a lot of expectations. You've really readjusted the weight that you carry, because it's like there's this energy of realizing that some of the things that you're carrying are not yours. They're not yours to carry. So you've given it back and have been very strong in that. Then you kind of push back, being like, no, that's, no, you've given it back. You've cut cords. You're liberating yourself. I sense that you have really been able to articulate yourself at a much more profound level. These trials and tribulations have really brought you closer to yourself, even because you felt far away from yourself at times. You've reached for yourself. You've, brought those pieces back together. As in your grief process, you've I just keep seeing this like reverse shattering of a vase. It's like coming together again, because the Six of Wands is about victory. It's about freedom and liberation. It's about being seen for who you truly are. And anything else that tries to define you, that doesn't align with you, there's a boundary being put in place. I sense that there's, with the Father of Swords and the Six of Wands, like there's not, you're not easily swayed. You're not easily tricked. You're not easily pushed around. You know your truth. You know who you are. And I just heard like this, it's so interesting, like weak moment. It's like, and if anyone has perceived you to be at a weak moment and tried to take advantage of you in some way, well, they are mistaken. They are sorely mistaken. And yeah, so interesting sayings coming through, but they just have shown their ass. Okay. They've shown their ass. And there's this profound sense of liberation. Liberating yourself from, again, outdated emotional beliefs, patterns, other people's projections, conditioning, past versions of yourself. And again, that's challenging, right? Because there's some that feel really good. You're like, yeah, bye. And some is like, oh my gosh, I am having a hard time moving on from that point. But things have changed since then, and I have to. So there's a lot of layers to this, and with change comes transformation, and transformation is incredibly liberating. It is very so I sense you have changed a lot, but in a way that has assisted you in really feeling more secure in who you truly are, and not being easily tricked or, again, swayed or manipulated because of like whatever wily ass things that you have gone through in this last book. The things that you have experienced thus far. Like, I feel this profound, like, dark feminine energy in this reading with, like, the new moon, which is this, like, sacred, destructive energy, but it's utilized in this way of, cathartic liberation and cleansing. So it's like, I just sense you, who I'm talking to right now, through the trials and tribulations and triumphs of your life thus far, you have really got in touch with that, like, dark feminine force, and have learned and are committed to the practice of expressing that potent energy in your life to assist you in protecting your peace and aligning you with people, places, and things that provide space for you to shine your light, to blossom and bloom, to rest and feel comfortable and resting. You know, those kind of things. So I hope that makes sense. But wow, like, oh my gosh, I love to see it, really, like, because I'm just proud of you for always returning to love, and like the rawness of love, like the depth of love, like when it comes to what we were just talking about, like it's not just, it's like this notion of like, okay, what am I trying to say? Like I'm thinking of a reference. It's like, you know, like in a movie or in something, like they have like a reputation era, like a villain era kind of thing, but like it's not necessarily like them being a villain, like it's really remembering their power. And so when we're talking about like this strength, well, like the depth and rawness of love, I'm talking about like knowing that love can also be destructive. And what I mean by that is that it can be a force of change. So when we embody that, we're less like afraid of making changes in our lives due to the love that we have for ourselves. Because like I sense I'm talking to people who are incredibly loving and have always been on, like, you know, this side of love and being very accommodating people. I feel like I'm talking to very accommodating people and have realized like how that can quickly turn into being taken advantage of, unfortunately. And learning that you can still be loving and say no is really what I'm trying to say. You can still be loving and stand up for yourself. You're still loving when you're angry and when you're like, you know, if you need to put someone in their place. You can do that out of love. You know? It takes a lot of practice to be aware of that, like to not want to take someone down because of, you know, feeling more comfortable with them feeling, you know, like that's not what I'm talking about. I sense you being people who have learned how to stand up to others in the face of that and know that that is love, because you were learning to love yourself so much because of some of the fucking weird ass shit and challenging shit, sad shit that has happened thus far, as well as the triumphs. I don't want to forget that, because I sense you have had many a triumph and many beautiful dreams come true, that have also assisted you in really like being aware of like who the F you are. So yeah. With the Son of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Oh, some of these flipped over. Let's see what they are. Okay, yeah. We have the Judgment card, we have the Devil, and the Hanged Man. So there's this surrender and this release of anything that, you know, attempts to drain your power, or anything that has drained your power. There's this you know, awareness to your triggers, and this phoenix rising from the ashes energy of the Judgment card, like really being, again, like the reverse vase came into my perception, the reverse shattered vase coming back into place. There's this energy of being reborn. And that really coincides with the Aries new moon as well. Being reborn. Releasing, anything that does not serve you. And really being aware of any self-limiting beliefs, self-doubt, any, again, outdated behavior patterns, any conditioning. The devil comes with a lot, like any kind of, addictions. And that can mean so many different things for each of us, right? We can be addicted to doubting ourselves. Like we can be addicted to so many things. So with the Hangman here, I sense you have learned to really become curious about yourself, curious about these places in which you have felt powerless, where you felt helpless, where you feel limited, where you feel blocked, where you feel, held back, where you feel like, because there has been situations I sense where you have felt powerless, where you felt helpless. And that's a challenging place to be. And I'm proud of you for meeting yourself where you're at. And, really putting into practice and committing yourself to, the process of, grounding yourself emotionally, exploring yourself emotionally. The Nine of Cups is also bliss energy. It's also finding your bliss, finding your center, finding your peace. So I sense, I'm talking to people who have really learned how to protect their peace. And be this spiritual, this light in this world, this vision, this you are unicorns. I'm talking to unicorns, for real, these mythical creatures, these beautiful, otherworldly beings. And I sense you have learned that you can go into that darkness, and that it is not bad, and that through visiting yourself in those places, by turning around and facing those places that are triggering, has really worked to remove a lot of its power. And you've learned how to wield that potent, dark feminine energy to create much needed change in your dynamics. And I sense you looking around at a whole new environment. It may feel raw in many places, but it also feels very exciting in others. And it's okay to have all of it happening at once, okay? I'll keep honoring your feelings and grounding as much as you can, coming back into the body, making sure you're drinking enough water, right? This is Aries season, so it's fire, so it's hot, so making sure you're cooling yourself off by staying hydrated, and continue to assert yourself and stand up for yourself, liberate yourself, free yourself. You are such a victor. This is all about victory. This is a time to really celebrate your victory, your triumphs, okay? And feel this sense of Phoenix being reborn and stepping forward into this whole new era, feeling even more tuned in with your intuition. And we've got the Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So it's a time for rest. It's time to recharge and restore and recalibrate. Because, again, it is a whole new era. like, it's really driving me crazy because I feel like there's a certain way I'm trying to like bring across an energy, but I can't find the words. But I think that you'll pick it up if you're resonating with this. It's like that those times in movies when like the main character really kind of like there's an illusion shattered, and like they drop that like people-pleasing nature, and they like go into that, they find that balance, that strength, and they, you know, stop caring about people that are like just bent on just misunderstanding them. They're just like, go ahead, misunderstand me, and they propel. There's usually some sort of like montage of them, like, you know, making things happen after like that happens, right? You see like them really like things are aligning for them. I hope that I'm bringing this across right. But you know, in those movies where like, yeah, that shift happens, and then they may get tested again, and then they return to themselves. They've found a certain kind of balance. They've created a full spectrum. They've realized that they can be who they are without being a doormat, kind of thing. And I feel like that plays in a certain way to this energy, where we've learned like that we do not have to be a doormat in order to be of service to the world, in order to be beings of love, like to, you're right, because I feel like I am talking to like star seeds. I'm talking to like very spiritually gifted people, like unicorns, just like and are so loving and so generous and, you know, so giving. So I'm proud of you for knowing that you don't have to stop being generous or giving, but that you can also be discerning and protective over your peace. And that's being carried into this next book. And it's going to serve you really well. Okay, let's do a light worker oracle. Okay, third ray of creative intelligence. Now look at that. Like, this is kind of giving me Phoenix rising from the ashes energy. Like, they're even kind of cracked, dry kind of thing, right? Like, and there's this liberation, this expansion, this transcendence. Wow, it's so beautiful. Messages and numbers at the bottom of the deck, so they might be seeing a certain number sequence lately, and if so, you know, type that into Google and explore some of the, you know, frequencies that are, you know, that come along with that number frequency and that number, because you know, like angels and like angels, like energetic, love to communicate. Like, the universe likes to communicate through numbers. Angels like to communicate through numbers. So that could be something that could be helpful for you if you're seeing a certain number or number sequence a lot right now. Okay, so the third ray of creative intelligence. The third ray of creative intelligence brings the gift of practical spirituality and develops the talent for grounding inspired creativity into the world. Yeah. It empowers your manifestation. This ray brings many gifts, including new ideas and the practical support needed to bring them to life. The ability to organize, make connections and networks, and synthesize information from various sources into one coherent whole. Archangel Chamuel helps you receive this gift from the universe with love and intelligence. Wow, what a beautiful way to conclude this reading. That's exactly it. Like, with the star here, all of it, like finding this is the gift of practical spirituality and develops the talent for grounding inspired creativity into the world. So it empowers your manifestation. This ray brings many gifts, including new ideas and the practical support needed to bring them to life. Okay, so this goes right back to the beginning of this reading as well when it comes to cracking open that fresh journal. You've just cracked open the cover of it. You're at your desk. It's a whole brand new, unwritten journal. A whole new era. So Archangel Chamuel helps you receive this gift from the universe with love and intelligence. There's many, gifts, new ideas, practical support needed to bring them to life. The ability to organize, make connections and networks, and synthesize information from various sources into one coherent whole. So there is so much activation. There is so much expansion and transcendence. You are evolving. We are with each step on the unfolding path, but there is times, this one being one of them, where there is a lot of acceleration, where there is a very very marked endings and beginnings, and this is one of them. There's still a threshold, so honor yourself in walking, taking a step over the threshold. So with this oracle comes a message about taking action and believing that even the most inspired and spiritual ideas can have practical purpose in the world. Your visions and ideas can and should be worked with so they can manifest. Yes. So that helps me really focus into this star energy here. Like this is you, I feel you really learning and trying, different things that you feel intuitively guided to do in order to express your spiritual gifts and show up in the world in ways that feel authentic to you in order to make the world a better place. And knowing that you do not have to sacrifice anything. You can be who you are. You can do things that nourish your mind, body, and soul, as well as help the collective. You do not need to be, a certain way. You do not need to be that sacrificial lamb. And I sense you standing up to that. I sense you people who, may have been scapegoats for many things, and you've returned, you're like, I am not accepting that. I'm not carrying that energy. I am not your scapegoat. And I sense, you doing it in ways where, you're just continuing on, your path. I don't even sense you being people returning it to sender. You're just like, this isn't mine, and you've dropped that weight. And maybe have returned it to sender with love, in hoping the best for people. I don't even know. I just don't even, I don't sense you even being people who have been you're just cutting cords, releasing weight, and stepping forward on your path, minding your business, paying attention to your healing, and expressing your light and your creativity in the world, liberating yourself, and then ultimately turning around and protecting yourself and honoring the boundaries you're putting in place for yourself, and learning how to articulate yourself more and more when it comes to who you are, and finding ways to share your, again, authentic gifts in the world in ways that doesn't deplete you, doesn't diminish you, deplete you, or anything like that. Okay, I just want to see if there's any other. So if you like to work with the archangels, which I love to work with archangels, so Chamuel brings the gift of reclaiming lost energy, ideas, or talents that can help you fulfill your divine potential. This archangel helps you reawaken talents from this or other lifetimes that may have been cast aside. Perhaps your intuitive healing energy was put to one side as you studied or tended to family responsibilities. Perhaps your business sense or your ability to market yourself in a soulful and loving way is yet to be discovered. Interesting. Maybe an ability to teach or the clear, confident voice of a writer is within you, waiting to be developed. This archangel will help you find and apply with loving confidence whatever talents and abilities are required to turn your aspirations into manifestations. As this ray has a special connection with business, you are asked to remain open to learning and growing through financial success. This ray can help heal the tension that many feel between spirituality and financial abundance. It helps us recognize that the spirit feels joy in successful physical world endeavors, particularly those that serve love. When a situation is a win-win for all involved, there is no reason at all to hold back from material success. It can be celebrated and enjoyed whilst you imagine the true motivation for the work, which is love. Yeah. So there's like money healing energy here. And, accepting that it's okay to want money, to get paid. But again, not making any concessions, doing it in ways that fulfill you. You can have it all. And I sense that this is something you're really implementing. What a cool message. A win-win for all involved. There is no reason at all to hold back from material success. It can be celebrated and enjoyed whilst you maintain the true motivation for the work, which is love. Yeah, because there's a reciprocity situation here. Like, it is important for you to receive, for what you give, what you share, so that you are feeling safe and secure, fed, happy, and fulfilled in your life. And by, being able to do that while doing your soul's work, like, it's a win-win for all, because it's impacting people, it's making the world a better place, and aligning you with those that really value you. Wow. Sorry, there's so many messages in here. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, so the challenge with this ray is to take it one step at a time. Allow the universe to help you find the patience, persistence, and sense of humor that will help you stick to the process of creation. Do not try to do too much at once, nor allow your project to get too complicated. Above all, do not give up before you have finally brought your inner light to life in the world. Bless your hearts. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this was encouraging in some way. If anything stuck out to you, please leave me a comment if you feel comfortable. Like the video. That helps me get these out into the YouTube world to align with, people who may resonate with the frequencies I'm sharing. And subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you a part of the community. And thank you again for being here. I will see you in the next readings. I'll be starting the April readings very soon here. So I hope to see you in your zodiac sign, whatever that may be. So love you lots.